It has been 29 years since someone has lit that black candle. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, I got you. But if you do, then you know exactly where we're going at here. Because yes, it is time to jump into my review of the new film, Hocus Pocus 2. Welcome back to the channel today, folks, for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new film, Hocus Pocus 2, coming to Disney Plus September 30th. Yeah, it's been 29 years since the original film was released, and now we're back for the sequel. And man, that's a long time. That's a lifetime for many. And I swear it feels like we have just picked up where things left off. And you know, with the cast returning from Betty to Sarah to Kathy as the Sanderson sisters, and also Doug Jones coming back as Billy, you know, it's a lot to be excited for this. And I will say, to start this review off, that this was a entertaining film. It's right on time for spooky season. This again releases September 30th, so right in time for Halloween. I think it's going to do really well during the Halloween season. And I think just overall, from the nostalgia, sort of the modernization of this, I think it's very fitting for all family. And I think it's just a good time to put on from the kids and adults, for everybody to just watch. This was a fun film. I did not think I was going to have this much fun with it, but I really did. And there's particular elements of this that really was exciting to me. I think one, when you think about a film that's it's been about almost 30 years, 29 years, you know, now coming back into the 17th century, things are updated. They're not on brooms anymore. You know, we don't have brooms most of the times in houses. We have Swiffers, we have Roombas, you know, and what would they fly on if they don't have those things? And a lot of this stuff is addressed, and I think it's really cool to kind of see them now adapting into the world that they that the world that we live in, that the world that is so completely new and unique to them. And I think like that's a lot of the comedic tone to this, is seeing the Sanderson sisters really getting acclimated to how things have changed, and that's really cool. But yeah, you know, now that they're back, it's very simple. They're seeking out revenge on Salem. That's just all it is. And they're going to make sure that that they're the strongest and most powerful witches ever, and that no one can ever blow out the black flame candle ever again. And if they do, that they'll still live. So they have a plan, and it's really about them, you know, retaining their youth, which you know what that means. They got to go after some young folks, got to kill these kids, and also and ultimately, like I said, becoming powerful witches that they will never have to die ever again. So anyway, in the beginning of this, the Disney castle, the new little tweaking that they do for this is cool and creepy. And I think that, you know, again, much of them adapting to this new generation has really been some of the most fascinating parts to it. You know, cell phones, you know, we have like convenience stores on corners like Walgreens. You got cosplayers who absolutely know who they are, so they're walking around and they're in their normal outfits, but they're actually an inspiration of who they are. And they're just like, wait, we have fans? Yes, you have fans, you know? So I think that's really cool. And understanding that to be youthful doesn't mean that you actually have to kill kids, because we have products now, which they also are getting familiar with skincare routines and whatnot. But yeah, you know, visually is one of the big things for me here, because now that technology has gotten so much better from over the last few years, you know, now in this case, 30 something years, you know, things are able to look more updated. I think, you know, when you look back at the old films and seeing them flying, it looks obviously and very noticeably wonky. So now seeing it now with the updated technology, yeah, you can still kind of tell it's a green screen, but yeah, it absolutely looks better. And like, even with the magic and the spells, all of that looks really good. Like the visual effects with that looks really good and enjoyable. And there's so many funny and silly moments. And as I mentioned, you know, they ride on brooms, but there is no brooms anymore. So they're riding on Swiffers and Roombas. Like, it's completely funny. And I think that when you talk about Betty and Sarah and Kathy, it's like no time has passed. They jump right back into these characters with the voice work and the mannerisms. They're just right on point. And, you know, they've all had very successful careers since this film had released. And to see them really get back into this and just have the fun that they are was obviously the best part of this film. Like, they really were. And also Doug as well, too, coming back as Billy. And I just was not expecting that at all, which, if you know about the original film and that whole dynamic, seeing Billy be a part of the conflict in this was interesting. Also, I should mention, since we're talking about the cast, Sam Richardson as Gilbert, who comes in as the old Salem magic shop owner. Sam is one of my favorite actors, and he completely elevates this film. Like, you know what you're going to get with the original cast, so you start to think, like, when you add in new cast members, what would it do? And he absolutely is part of the positivity in making this film better than the original film. And then you have this young nucleus who, you know, when you talk about this young nucleus from Izzy, Cassie, and Becca, who Becca is the lead of the trio here. Becca wants to be a witch. You know, she does all the little things for everybody to think that she's a witch in school. But yeah, you know, she really inspires to be a witch, and she's part of the reason that the candle gets lit again. Obviously tricked by Gilbert, but Gilbert is under some influences as well too. So there's a lot of little different things kind of happening here. But yeah, you know, and now that she realized that she's woke up the Sanderson sisters, now she's like, oh shoot, what are we gonna do? You actually released the evil on the town of Salem during Halloween. Probably not going to go good for everybody around, you know. Plus, they have a vendetta, including going after Cassie's dad. So there's that. And I will say the connections between the prequel and this really worked out really well. I don't know. I mean, I think we all wanted a sequel, but I think it's always the question of how do we make this relevant from the original, and they absolutely made it work. But yeah, you know, I think that, you know, from the performances. I thought that when you got to see the original trio really get back into their role, and then they hit this performance for the song One Way or Another, the choreography and everything for that, it's the epitome of just how much fun everybody was having in the filming of this film. Like, you just can see the joy coming from these characters, that they're just having so much fun. And I think with that, you go into this wanting to have fun, they're going to ensure you have fun, and overall, you just end up having fun. So, you know, I definitely appreciated that. There's an end credit scene as well, too. Yeah, I think it's completely amazing. It's also something to do with the trio, the original trio. And it's just, another display of just how much fun Betty and Sarah and Kathy had in the filming of this, that they had to add a little bit of extra something else to it. And then if that wasn't enough, there's an after the credit scene, which is like, okay, which is interesting, because if there's a possibility that they want to do another one, I'd be totally on board for it. I really, really would. But you know, overall, Hocus Pocus 2 was a film that, like, finally that we have it, I was a little bit like, but obviously, come on now. Of course I wanted to check it out, and I'm very, very satisfied. This was a fun film. I definitely plan on watching it again. Just from the performances, just the radiating fun, the silliness of it. And then even at times it comes off a little campy, but it just meshed really well from the OG 3, and then the younger trio of cast members meshing with them all together. You know, Doug coming back, Sam being a part of this. I think overall you just got like a good core cast that just really made this work. And even characters with very, very small roles. I think Tony Hale as the mayor, I thought he also, you know, for his very little role, that he was like funny. He adds something to it, you know, and I appreciate that. So but anyway, yeah, check it out again, September 30th on Disney Plus. Jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about it, and as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.